some massive breaking football news.
The Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has announced he'll leave his job at the end of the season.
The club have announced it via their social media channels. It is Klopp's decision.
This club needs a manager in its top game. I realised my resources are not endless, and then we have to change.
The challenge facing Liverpool is how do you replace the irreplaceable?
Oh, that's such a difficult one.
It's impossible to be another Jurgen Klopp.
It's like having the Beatles as a support act. How are you meant to go on stage after that?
You're not just replacing a manager, you're replacing a figurehead for the club and the city. It's not just the warm hugs that he gives, he understands us as a fan base.
I think we all knew eventually it was going to come, but I think some of us had kind of believed that it wasn't going to come so soon.
Klopp releasing that video telling the world that he was going to leave Liverpool, it was seismic.
I genuinely believed it was a joke. I was stunned. I think I'm only just coming round to the idea of life after Klopp for the club.
Liverpool fans put managers on a pedestal and they expect them to be more than a football coach. The biggest compliment you can pay Jurgen Klopp is that he didn't just live up to those expectations, he surpassed them in so many different ways.
When I left Dortmund, my last sentence maybe were, it's not so important what people think when you come in. It's much more important what people think when you leave.
Trying to sum up what that man's brought to us as fans, as a football club, as a city, it's almost everything.
The scintillating brand of football, the way in which he's improved almost every player.
The success, the memories, the songs, the connection.
I think Jurgen Klopp has been the most transformative figure in Liverpool's history since Bill Shankly. I think in the context of where the club was at when he walked in and where the club is at now as he prepares to depart.
The impact has been just absolutely monumental, and I think when he came to the club, his biggest challenge really was restoring the belief of a fan base that had really stopped believing.
If we want, this could be a really special day. If we want, we have to change from doubter to believer.
I mean, he's made us believe again. He's made us dream. This sort of solidarity that he has with us as a city and as a club, that you just feel as though he gets it, he understands it.
You know, he's a complete package. You know, this isn't just a guy who's a great coach or just a great motivator or a great speaker, a great orator, a great leader. He's all of those things, and there'll be myriad other things that we won't even realise we've lost until he's gone.
The idea that you won't miss someone like Jurgen Klopp, I think it's just hard to believe. All you can do is try and limit the drop-off.
One would hope that there's a bit of a template, not in how to do it, but in how not to do it, laid out. Graham Souness at Liverpool, David Moyes at Manchester United, Unai Emery following Arsene Wenger.
If you look at the way David Moyes' first summer went, he was missing on transfers. He didn't get all his first charges. He went for Leighton Baines, didn't get him. Went for Fabregas, didn't get him. Again, if you look at Unai Emery after Wenger, his big transfer was Nicolas Pepe. They spent £72 million on him, and it didn't work out. And that was really the catalyst for it not working out.
That is the feeling in the back of everyone's mind, is how can this go wrong? What is the worst case scenario in this?
I think there's an acceptance, certainly amongst the ownership, that there isn't another Jurgen Klopp out there. You can't find a like-for-like replacement who can fill that void, so you have to go about things differently. And I think what we're seeing with FSG and Liverpool this summer is a bit of a reset button. The return of Michael Edwards as CEO of football for FSG, and with Richard Hughes coming in as sporting director.
I think Michael Edwards coming in is a massive boost for us because it takes some of the pressure off the manager to have to set everything immediately. He can concentrate on the team.
I think the manager's role won't be as all-encompassing. I think it'll be more of a head coach position. There's a new structure being put in place. The next part of that jigsaw is appointing Klopp's successor.
Trying to replace Jurgen Klopp is almost the poison chalice. It's like having the Beatles as a support act. How are you meant to go on stage after that?
Having to live with that pressure, having to live with that constant comparison.
There aren't many who would back themselves, but the best would.
Lots of Liverpool fans were thinking that Xabi Alonso might be the ideal candidate.
This is the right place for me to be, to develop as a coach. I've taken this important decision to continue being coach of Bayer Leverkusen.
Once Jurgen Klopp told the owners in November that he would be leaving at the end of the season, I think what happened behind the scenes was that Will Spearman, Liverpool's director of research, and his team of analysts did embark on a pretty wide-ranging sweep of potential candidates using all the data available to them. We know that Amorim featured highly on that, Nagelsmann as well, who's obviously currently manager of the German national team.
The key things for me, this guy needs to have a personality. He needs to be someone who doesn't care about Jurgen Klopp. and doesn't care about following Jurgen Klopp. I think we've seen lots of things of people saying, well, maybe they don't want to be the man who follows the man, you want to be the man after. No, we want someone who's willing and able and excited about following the man.
Probably the biggest thing I think that gives fans here and the owners the belief that there won't be a kind of post-Alex Ferguson situation at Manchester United is the sheer level of talent that the next manager will inherit.
Fabulous talent in every position. That's the plus point for the manager that will take over from Jurgen Klopp.
You look at United post-Ferguson, it was an ageing team that needed a lot of work done to it. Liverpool have actually kind of rebuilt a lot of the squad already, and we've seen so many talented young players make that leap from academy football to the first team this season.
That is the belief that Jurgen has in the team, that the kind of culture that he fostered around not only the squad but obviously with the academy. There's a lot more pathways that are open now between those two sets of teams, if you like. A lot of it does come down to Jurgen's faith and trust and belief in young players that they can prove them right, and we've seen that in the Carabao Cup final, didn't we?
The great unknowable is just how much of Jurgen Klopp is in this Liverpool side and was already in this Liverpool side and will remain in this Liverpool side whether he's there or not.
I think if you listen to what Conor Bradley said after Liverpool progressed to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, and he said we want to win every trophy possible for Jurgen Klopp, I think that just shows you the belief that he's managed to instill in these young players and how highly he's regarded amongst these young players.
You take Klopp away and we don't know at the moment what kind of impact that will have.
I think the biggest worry is like that feeling of being deflated. The young lads feeling as though someone's walked away from them that's built their career. Even some of the senior players thinking we were building something here. You see Mo's reaction in certain interviews when he talks about he couldn't believe it, he thought he'd signed an extension, and there's uncertainty there now.
Right now the future is this just sort of unseen dark highway stretching out. No one really knows what's going to go.
Most Liverpool fans will feel, will it ever be quite as good as this again when they look back on the journey that Klopp has taken them on?
With Jurgen Klopp, he's really been about the joy of watching football, of going to see your team play.
You don't get him again. You don't get his charisma, you don't get his personality from anyone else ever again, I don't think.
He's almost bigger than the football club, but actually doesn't believe himself to be.
It's difficult to think about what it's going to be like without him. He's kind of brought so many people together within the club.
There will be that sense of loss, in terms of the fact that he's walking away, but the club is in a good place. During Klopp's reign, half of the stadium has been completely renovated, rebuilt. The capacity is now over 60,000. You look at the commercial performance of Liverpool, which keeps on growing and growing. They are an absolute, football powerhouse globally. I think all of that lends itself to the belief that, okay, things will never be the same again, but there's no reason why the success can't keep on rolling.
When you feel as though someone's representing you, almost they don't need to be born in an L postcode, raised with a purple bin, they can come from anywhere. When people take us to their hearts, more often than not we'll do the same. We all accept his decision, that's the thing. We respect him so much that when he said that that's it, he's too tired, fine. We're not going to kick up a fuss, we'll appreciate you, even though we're all devastated. He just needs to know how appreciated he is now. Thankful we are for what he's done.